Okay, both of them got that. Okay, let's go then. Cut that out for now. And bring in the game stuff again, the audio. And then begin. So, how are you doing, Internet? I'm Beanuts. Welcome back to Genshin Impact. Welcome to the stream. Good morning. I don't know. Today my plan is, because we have Kokomi here. Of course, I haven't done anything with her yet. I'm hoping things work properly today. I don't know. So yes, we have Kokomi, but so far people aren't all that impressed with her. I'm planning on pulling her just in case she gets buffed later, and because I only have one dedicated healer, even though I do have Bennett and Noelle and Jean. They can't heal on their E's. Noelle can, but only when she hits, so only very specific situations. Whereas Kokomi and Barbara and Chi-Chi, they can heal on their E's usually any situation, although it's a much lesser amount. So I'm hoping Kokomi will be improved later on so that she's not as disappointing anymore. And I'm going to show you as well how many more fish I need to get the last refinement for the catch. And then, so I've got enough of these. I don't need any more. I need 3 more regular popular fish, 7 more bitter, which shouldn't take me too long, but I do need to wait for the fish to respawn, because I did it yesterday and it generally takes 3 days. And I've also been farming materials from Rhodesia and from the Geo-Hypostasis Gmail to get materials so that I can level up and ascend some of my other characters. Now, I suppose I can also show you what's been going on with this, because I probably have dispatches that I should handle right now. So let's go on to Inazuma. So my primary plan is to do Kokomi's quest and summon for her. And then I will, if there's time, do a tier list for 2.1. And we'll see where things fall. So again, people have not been very impressed, although community's also not reacted in favor of some of the more recent characters overall. So she said her favorite thing was an egg sushi, which I don't even know if we can make, but she also likes things that are simple to make. So if we can find something fairly simple, I'm sure that will be attractive towards her and help us with our usual ritual for summoning. I don't see it. But anything that's similar, the simple, and maybe something that includes egg. One little detail that I like is that bird egg sushi is the one that she said that she liked. And this restores HP. Let's go ahead and make some. It only takes egg and flour. Let's go ahead and master that too. And yes, I do appreciate the fact that I'm doing this with Barbara, who unfortunately now has a reputation of hitting any healing better than Kokomi does, which I don't really know if it's true or not, but it's sad if it is. And this will take seaweed and tofu. Let's do it with Jean this time. Why are there so many characters with the same or similar boosts? That doesn't make any sense, especially when Miho has gone to the trouble of making so many characters who have different kinds of traits. And they're all supposed to play more or less uniquely. So that doesn't make sense at all. Alright, so we've got this thing now, the Spectral Secrets. And yes, I'm keeping these guys on here for now so that they can stay and I won't accidentally dispatch them. So with these S rank ones, now you have to do preliminary investigation in order to unlock them. And then of course you have all the different rank ones and all that. So it says complete the investigation in order to unlock expedition. So you can send the characters in. Which is what I will go ahead to do first. And send us there almost immediately. And the unfortunate thing with Kokomi isn't even that she has minus 100% crit rate as a passive. It's her scaling for her abilities is lower than it really should be. So I'm hoping, and I believe a lot of the community are hoping, that MiHoYo will decide to increase her scaling so that it's more in line with what it should be, as she is a 5-star character. But who knows if that will actually come to be. Because even in her trial, she's given Heart of Depth, I believe. So it's not really her best in slot artifact set, considering that she emphasizes healing so much. But that's what they decided to give her. So that's what everyone has to deal with as a result. And they're not much liking it. Alright, we're here. What we have to do is find 3 lanterns. There are 2. And one of these. And we can light up the lanterns. Are all 3 there? Huh, that's unusual. Usually one of them is hidden. So the fact it's in the water probably means that it's meant to be a bit of a trap. But I'm going to go back onto the land for this last one. And that should summon the specters. Momentarily, it's just lagging as per usual. I should get closer to here. Oh man. I forgot how bad aiming is while I'm streaming. Come on. I'm just gonna squash at them. There goes my shield. Come on, I'm pressing and holding. Right, another one there. Another one there. Oh, that didn't go too badly. Oh, I used some cuttings. Of course. We do need a bunch of handguards. Like a lot of handguards. So I am also mostly convinced that Mihiyo just quietly reduced drop rates on a lot of things. Which is weird because it was already pretty low. You're a pain in the butt. Oh look, you got to die last. I mean, why did those just drop only the basic ones? Let's see if there's anything good to pick up by the Thunder Secret. Nappy weeds, which we probably have enough of now. Why did it get caught like that? Again, there. It's much easier to do things now that I'm not being shocked by every little thing. But it does take a lot of the sting out of this whole region. Oh, of course, you want a little bit of safety, huh? one of the things that really sells Inazuma is the violet theme also indicates that it's a more violent and dangerous place for you, just in general. But in a good way. It just indicates that you have to be more savvy, more on your guard. And that's especially true when you compare it to Mondstadt. I mean, Mondstadt is basically, in comparison to the rest of the game, it's the tutorial. It's where you learn how to explore more effectively and about different hazards and that kind of thing, but it isn't really the serious stuff. You get into the more serious stuff in Leeway, which indicates a lot about the nature of the stuff that you get to encounter apart from for that. So I guess you could also say that there's a lot in Mondstadt that you discover apart from that. But at the same time, a lot of the game content is locked behind the higher ARs so that by the time you're high enough AR to get to them, things like the Cerna Teapot or some domains even, you're already beyond Mondstadt. You've already gone past it. Alright, so let's do this part. So that's unlocked. And as per usual, you can do a team of 2 or more people and use a friend support in order to get the exploration. So on here, it recommends Pyro and Anmo, so I'm going to send in Hutao and Sucrose. It says perfect, which is basically 100%, but I'm still going to use from a friend. From Len, use their Ningguang, who's level 20, but that's already enough. And I'm going to see if there's anything that I really need from all of them. Probably mass. I also need those. Which one is this? Probably still need that anyway. This one recommends Hydro and Cryo. I'll send in them. And from Bunny, a level 20 Lisa. Now, it is talent material for all. Recommends Electro and Cryo. Oh wait, not the 2 of them together. Damn. We have different weapons. Not that it matters, it's still perfect. So from all of these, and you also notice that the number of Primo Gems also decreases according to the group. So I'm going to do this one for the mask. This one recommends Electro, Hydro, and Cryo. So I'll send in those 2. And Jiangling. And now for these. Unfortunate that we can only send 5 at once. That means that we're not getting in as many as we could be. And I'm trying to send them in for as much variety as I possibly can. So fish, we'll get that. And we'll get that. Also, I think it said something about support record. So Creeper KFC asked for one of my Noels. But that's pretty much all there. And I'll clean that. It still bugs me that we don't get beyond level 50 on that. So let's get started on this quest, and yes, I am playing it now in Japanese instead of English. That's not a slight against any of the voice actors at all. It's just that it makes more sense to play in Japanese in Inazuma, since it's based off of Japan anyway. Watsutsumi Island. Legend has it that those who wish to reach Konomiya in the deep must first obtain a certain key in order to open the gateway. And I believe we've opened the gateway. So I did that off stream, I think, maybe? Did I put on the game audio again? Yeah, I did. I just silenced the desktop audio so there wouldn't be any feedback or anything. Where are we at? Started.
この前渡積島に来た時、ここを通ったことがあるだろ？あの時、お前はメカジキ2番隊の隊長になってたよな。もうあれからだいぶ時間が経ってるから、
You're acting like that was so long ago,
兵たちがまだお前のことを忘れてないといいんだけど。渡積島もきっと大きく変わってると思うぞ。近くを見て回ろうぜ。
So, are we no longer captain of Swordfish too? I guess it'd be irresponsible
敵が
to
こち
go
らより
around.
多ければ突破を求むべし、敵がこちらより少なければ干渉を求むべし。海辺の敵、輸送船あり、船を燃やせば勝利をもたらさん。
五郎様、結論は出ましたか？
ああ、三五宮様の残した虎の巻をもとに推測すると、ファデュイの船が近くに停泊しているのがわかる。だからこそファデュイの奴らもあんなに突き上がっているんだろう。
Wait, they're pretty
二手に
here?
分かれよう。一体が奴らの注意を引き、もう一体がその隙に後ろから回り込んで奴らの船を燃やす。そうすればきっと奴らも逃げられまい。いや、しかし三五宮様は兵力が不足している状況では兵を分断するなとも言っていた。付け入る隙を与え、総崩れを招いてしまうと。では救援を呼びましょうか。それでは間に合わない。奴らの動向を見るに、もうここを離れる準備が済んでいるだろう。
Will they be moving on?
三五宮様の虎の巻には、外での作戦は急ぐべからずとも書かれてあった。兵力が足りない以上、今回は一旦諦めるしかない。
Oh, let us
では
take
あい
care
つ
of
ら
it.
をこのまま逃すというのですか？そんなの納得できません。
実は三五宮様の虎の巻にはもう一言書いてある。窮地に陥りしとき、援軍が現れん。だがいまいち意味がわからない。 援軍とは一体。
ここで何やってんだ？
It'll just come waltzing
隊
up to you.
長、渡積島に戻っていたんですか？
It'll just walk up to you and your ambush as you're standing there in the bushes. Need a hand?
助かった。やはり三宮様の虎の巻に間違いはなかったようだ。ちょうどいい時に来てくれた。近頃ファドゥイの残党どもに異常な動きが見られてな。それで今回俺たちは奴らの動向を探り、事前にここで待ち伏せをしていたんだ。
Oh, what have they been up to?
こちらには兵を二手に分けられるような人数がいない。悪いが注意を引きつける役を任せられないだろうか。
Keep them occupied, or,
ファ
take
ド
them
ゥイがまた
down.
何か悪さをしようとしてるのかもしれない。オイラたちも放っておけないぜ。
よし、ことは急を要する。俺たちは後ろから奴らの船を燃やす。その後また落ち合おう。油断するなよ。俺たちも終わり次第すぐ戻る。
どうやら抵抗軍のみんなはまだオイラたちのことを覚えてくれてたみたいだな。あいつらの手助けができるようオイラたちも頑張ろうぜ。
Come to think of it, why are they called the Resistance? They're mostly, at this point, basically a militia. And they've been an armed force for Watatsumi, so why don't they call themselves that, as opposed to calling themselves the Resistance? So, who would like to get frozen? Even make little bridges for you. Oh, there's more. And then about riflemen.
次の仕事はついていきます。部外者禁止。
They're gonna regret
大丈夫です。
sucking me in.
ルリのように落ちなさい。
みんながそばにいてくれるわ。ここで回避。
Are you a healer and
おさわり禁止。
天理チョーク。
planet default? Sorry, dude, doing a quest.
聞いたみたいだ。
Shouldn't Zombie be able to dismantle that? Oh, he did. Doesn't even show the sword in hand this time.
あいつらを逃すところだった。
Always happy to help, especially against them.
ココミの虎の巻なのか？どれどれ。
あと5冊もある。
6 volumes and all? That's impressive.
三宮様はあらゆる状況に応じた戦略を考えている。それにこれらは常備用の虎の巻だ。少し多いのも仕方ないこと。
They're
この
calling it
虎の巻
literally
のおかげで
GOD God.
俺たちはあらゆる複雑な状況に対応できている。
こんなにたくさんの策、どんだけ時間をかけて書いたんだ。あらゆる状況に対応できるようにするなんて。
Dedicated,
考
I'll
え
give
た
her
だ
that.
けで頭がクラクラするぞ。
隊長、今回せっかく渡積島に戻ってきたんですし、もう一度メカジキ2番隊の指揮を取りませんか？ 僕たちみんな
What's
今は
everyone doing?
平和な時期ですので、タイの数を減らして民の暮らしを手伝う必要があると産後宮様はおっしゃっていました。
Sounds good
約
to
半
me.
分の兵士は特別行動隊の編成を維持し、各小隊の支援をしています。そしてもう半分は見回り、建造、農業などの作業を行っています。
Sounds like you're doing well.
ただ先日、昔の同僚が家なんか建てるよりも前線で戦っていたいと文句を言っていたので、タイへの復帰を望んでいるようです。
What plans with whom? You're not fighting the shogunate
相変
anymore.
わらずだな。そういえばオイラたちがここに来たのはココミが祝賀会に誘ってくれたからなんだ。ゴロ、ココミがどこにいるか知ってるか？
産後宮様なら今は多分ボーロー村にいる。あそこで何かあったらしい。産後宮様が直々に対処しているそうだ。俺たちもそろそろ
Interesting. She
離れよ
doesn't usually do that.
う。そうだ、もし道中で兵士たちを見かけたら注意深く観察しておいてくれ。近頃兵士たちに落ち着きがない。なぜかは知らないが、その理由を俺に話したくないようだ。
I'll check that out.
昔はみんな悩みがあれば俺に言っていたのに、なんであんなコソコソと。何か厄介なことがあったのかもしれない。心配だ。
See what I
そ
can
う
do.
だな。オイラたちも抵抗軍の兵士たちと話がしたかったんだ。出発しようぜ、旅人。
Paimon calls us traveler. And she also doesn't call herself Paimon in the Japanese. And get her to do it again. I can see which form of the first person personal pronoun she actually uses. Down here? Oh. Benjiro.
あなたはメカジキ2番隊の隊長。あなたのことは知っていますよ。あなたのおかげで今の渡積島の平和があるんです。
Just do
自
what
分
we
は
can.
メカジキ2番隊の隊員ではありませんが、当時タタラスナにいた時あなたをお見かけしたことがあります。
Yeah,
両
that
軍
was
が対峙
electric.
する中、人前皮膚で何人もの幕府武士と戦っていましたよね。かっこよかったです。何か自分に手伝えることは何でもお手伝いします。
I've heard some people are on edge
皆さんの
these
落
days.
ち着きがない。確かに自分も感じていました。多分まだ戦争の影響が尾を引いているのでしょう。戦場では犠牲になる可能性が常にあったので、皆さんすごく気を張っていましたし、そんな状況下で
That's
戦
understandable.
争がいきなり終わったため、皆さんどうやって普通の生活に戻ったらいいのかわからないんですよ。ですので心配しなくても大丈夫です。少し時間が経てば皆さん良くなると思いますよ。
It's a fairly normal
それ以
viewpoint.
外だと自分には心当たりがありません。ですが産後宮様がいる以上、渡積島に危険はないと自分はそう信じています。それに今はあなたも戻ってきましたので、より安全かと。何か必要なことがあればいつでも自分におっしゃってください。
Thanks.
すごく親切な人だったな。他の人にも聞いてみよう。
I get the feeling this is going to be a lot of talking. So it did start off with some combat.
平和最高だ。なんだか見慣
He's
れた
enjoying
顔
himself,
が
huh?
どこかで見たような。誰だったか思い出せない。だが敵じゃないようだな。何か用か。
Here people are feeling unsettled at the moment.
みんなに落ち着きがない？そうか？全然そうは感じなかったが。
And now we've
普段
unsettled
から他
him.
人と会話をするのが好きじゃないからかもな。俺からすりゃあいつらはいつも騒がしいからさ。
Oh,
せっ
not
かくの
great,
平和
huh?
なんだ。ちゃんと味わっておかないと。ここで日向ぼっこして海風に吹かれる。 俺のやるべきことはそれだけさ。
How does a laid back guy like that end up in an army?
お前たちの質問に答えられなくて産後宮様に聞いてみるといい。あの人なら何でも知ってる。
うわー、もう眠っちゃいそうだぞ。これ以上邪魔するのはやめとこう。他の人に聞こうぜ。
Not a very good soldier, is he? Almost made me young. Let's just activate this time as we draw close enough. Yes.
和平交渉に同意するなんて、産後宮様は一体何を考えてるんだ。
Yeah, I forgot to turn teams off. Peace talks, give me a break. Why would she agree to that? Oh, finally we're
天
getting
領奉
somewhere.
行の奴らは全く信用できない。奴ら秘密裏にファデュイと結託して俺たちと引き続き戦争しようとしてるらしいぞ。
本当か？それは確かなんだろうな。
もちろん本当のことだ。俺たちの仲間がファデュイと対峙した時、陰謀を企ててる奴らを見たそうだ。
やっぱりそうだったのか。天領奉行の奴ら、未だによこしまな心を。産後宮様はやはり甘い。
I don't think
奴らを
Sarah
簡単
would
に
be
信
too
じるなん
pleased
て。
to hear you say that, you know.
静かに、誰か来る。
何を話してたんだ？
隊長？あ、戻っていたんですね。
What's new? Anything to report?
さっきのこと、隊長に言ってもいいか？
やめておけ。この人は産後宮様に買われている人物だ。彼も和平交渉を主張するかもしれない。
隊長なら俺たちを理解してくれるはずだろ？いや、でも確かに用心に越したことはないか。
What do you mean? You got intel, you should
隊長
share
の
it
帰
with the
還
command.
歓迎します。こちらは何も異常ありません。すべて順調です。
Are
産後
suspicious.
宮様は村にいると思います。隊長もそちらへ向かってはいかがでしょう。
おい、なんかこそこそ何かを言ってたような。でも言いたくないなら仕方ない。
Just spill it
まず
later.
は村に行ってみようぜ。
I don't see why they had to go full cutscene for that kind of thing.
早く言え。渡積島から仕入れた品物をこっそり天領奉行に渡してるんだろう。
Oh, you can secretly supplying mission with goods purchased and oh, what's going on here then?
天領奉行の商人であるお前が渡積島で商売してるなんて前々からおかしいと思ってたんだ。
That
今回こ
voice
そは言い
in
逃れ
that
できまい。
face doesn't exactly match,
誤
does it?
解です。
誤解？何を今さら。やはりお前が渡積島で商売することに同意するんじゃなかったぜ。
Aren't you being a little
連れてけ。
prejudiced just because he's with the commission? Hang on.
お待ちを。
ここにいたのか。
He's
何
right
か
there.
揉め事みたいだぞ。事情を聞いてくれ。
産後宮様、この商人が怪しい行動をとっていたゆえ捕まえておきました。
It's too young for
私
that
どもの
voice.
調べによれば彼は長期的に商品を仕入れているのですがそれらを売っていないようです。それなのに品物を持っていないためきっと天領奉行にこっそり運んでいるに違いありません。
違います。私は。
そこまで。皆さん冷静に私と一緒に深呼吸しましょう。少しは落ち着きましたか？松田、
She
内
just
村、
wants them to calm down.
渡積島の安全を心配する気持ちは私も理解していますよ。ですがその前にこちらの商人さんが過ちを犯したかどうかにかかわらず少なくとも弁解する機会を与えるべきではないですか？過ちを犯せば罰を受けるのは当然。しかしそうでなければ冤罪を着せるわけにはいきません。
Exactly.
渡積
Innocent
島で
until
行
proven
われる
guilty.
物事は主観的な判断ではなく、全て事実に基づくものでなくては。商人さん、私の部下が品物のことについて疑問を抱いています。そのことについて説明をなさってから私が判断を下すというのはいかがでしょうか。
He's being perfectly
は
reasonable.
い、もちろん。渡積島で商売を始めてから確かに在庫を多数抱えていました。もう少し在庫を確保して商品の値段が上がった頃に売ろうかと。あ
Oh, what happened?
しかしそんな時、仕入れた品物をファデュイに奪われてしまったんです。私が何をしたというのでしょう。品物は奪われた上にあなたたちに尋問までされるなんて。
Fit to eat him.
それが本当かどうかなんてわからないだろ
We ran
う。だ
into
と
some
しても
footy,
ファデュイに奪われたという証明にはならない。
and we'll just have to see what
Sorry.
goods they have.
天領奉行とファデュイは結託してるんだ。ファデュイの手に渡ったということは天領奉行の手に渡ったも同義。
え？天領奉行がファデュイと結託？それはどこからの情報ですか？私は何も知りません。それに結託していたとしても私と関係ないじゃないですか。
戦争はもう終わったのに天領奉行がまだファデュイと結託してるのか？おいらは違うと思うけど。
Especially after
オイ
writing
ラた
past
ち
a
この前
judgment.
九条家の名代にあったんだ。そういうことをするような人じゃなかったと思うぞ。でもここに来るまで確かに兵士
Accidentally
た
on
ちが
purpose.
このことについて話してたな。ココミ、お前は何か知ってるか？
確かにそのような報告を聞きました。もう少し経てば私たちと天領奉行の和平交渉の日になります。今回の交渉は上里家によって仕切られ中立地点で行われます。私と九条沙羅がそれぞれ自衛を引き連れ、これからのことについてしっかりと計画を立てる予定です。
Good
し
to
か
know.
しそのような大事な時期にとある噂を耳にしました。九条家が未だにファデュイと結託しており、渡積島を壊滅させようと企んでいると。
Able to
もしそ
confirm?
れが本当なら交渉は罠である可能性が、そして上里家もそれに関わっているかもしれません。
That seems unlikely given Ayaka.
あなたの品物は本当にファデュイに奪われたのですか？
本当です。嘘はついていません。ファデュイは私の品物を奪ってあちらの方に行きました。そこに秘密の拠点があるのかもしれません。
わかりました。容易ならぬ事態です。私たちがあなたの品物を取り戻しましょう。うまくいけばあなたの身の潔白も証明できます。もし本当にファデュイと天領奉行の結託を証明するような事態が起きた場合、あなたには調査に協力してもらう必要があります。よろしいですね。
異論ありません。産後宮様が直々にお手伝いをしてくださるなんて、なんとお礼を申せば。
松田、内村、あなたたちは
産後宮様の仰せのままに。
よろしい。旅人、いえ、メカジキ小隊2番隊隊長、私と共にこのことについて調査していただけますか？
Yes. No.
そうかしこまらず、これから何があろうとひとまず今は平和な時期なんですから。それにあなたもずっと渡積島にとどまるわけにはいかないでしょ。お互いに肩書きの違いはあれど、少なくとも友達のように振る舞いませんか？
Sounds good to me.
ファデュイから品物を探し出せたらあの商人の潔白が証明できるはずだ。
How far away is
そ
it?
れにファデュイと天領奉行が結託してるっていう噂もちゃんと調査しないとだな。
I'm sure we could teleport more closely to it. Let's go ahead and do that. It's good if they're able to break up the dialogue with a bit of combat. Oh, good. I got the wings to work properly this time. Ouch. I meant to get a little bit hurt, not that much. That way I can use my thing.
商人の言っていたファデュイの拠点はこちらで間違いなさそうですね。置いてあるものを見たところ、ここはもともとヒルチャールの拠点だったのでしょう。
Convenience, I would
それ
guess.
がなぜかファデュイに占拠されてしまっています。
うわー、すごく守りが硬そうだ。オイラたち本当に入れるのか？
We are above
力ず
it.
くで突破するのは難しいかと。ですが問題ありません。ここは私たちにとって有利な地形です。それに私たちがいることも相手に露見していません。敵は名所、こちらは暗所。策謀を張り巡らすのに絶好の機会です。
What does the grand strategist have in mind?
私の考えでは3つの策があります。1つ、金属金王。稲妻に残っているファデュイの勢力は微々たるものです。その多くは敗れた残党。高所から飛び降り敵の大将を仕留めることがで
How
き
did
れ
we
ば
know that's the
増
leader
票
then?
を打たずとも勝利を得られるでしょう。2つ、虎の意を狩る。あちらをご覧ください。火薬樽が積まれています。
By the animal
彼らが
boxer,
気
huh?
づかないうちに火薬を起爆できれば大打撃を与えることができます。不意をつかれた相手は確実に動揺し戦力も大幅に低下するでしょう。そして最後、
Also, that was
血
clearly
のり
not
を生かすこと。
gunpowder.
ここは海の近く、水気に覆われています。周囲の水蒸気を集めあなたの雷で麻痺させることができます。
Don't have an electro in your party at present.
こんなに早く策を思いつくなんて。で、結局どの策で行くんだ？
Death from
こ
above,
の
of
3つの
course.
策にある大きな違いは、実行者の自身情報から飛び降り拠点を奇襲する。最も早く解決できる方法ですが、
I have
高
no
い
problem with
爆
that.
発で相手の人員を瞬時に減らせば正面からの戦いを避けられるでしょう。しかし気配を消し隠密行動する必要があります。そして血のりを生かすには着実に戦いを繰り広げる必要があるため持久戦になる可能性があるでしょう。どの戦術がいいですか？
Death from above.
さすがメカジキ2番隊の隊長、ご自身の実力に自信があるようですね。この戦術を選んだからには共に戦いましょう。私は武闘派ではありませんが、ある程度の支援はできます。あなたを一人で戦わせたりはしません。彼らをいち早く倒し、商人の品物を取り戻しましょう。
Alright, so let's do that. So do we get a trial version of her? We do indeed. And she is level 71. Probably the same version that we get in the trial. Whoa, look at that HP. Over double. Plus her attack. What's her EM? 42? What the? Minus 48.2 as opposed to the minus 100 she comes with automatically. She's still not going to crit, but what did they give her? The weapon, of course, is from the banner. The Everlasting Moon Glow base attack 492, HP percent 40.9%. That's why it's so high. Healing bonus increased by 10%, normal attack damage by 1% of max HP. The character equipping this weapon for 12 seconds after an elemental burst, normal attacks that hit opponents will restore 0.6 energy. Can be restored this way once every 0.1 seconds, which is basically all the time. 1% of her max HP currently is like 259. Oh, but this time they gave her noblesse as opposed to depth. So elemental burst. In any constellation, they gave her C3 this time. In the trial, she's C0, at least. While donning the ceremonial garment created by Nereid Ascension, the final normal attack in Kokomi's combo will unleash a swimming fish to deal 30% of her max HP as hydro damage. It is not considered normal attack damage. Change the following healing bonuses for the broad to characters with 50% or less HP during the following methods. Kuraga's Oath, Bakakura gave 4.5% of Kokomi's max HP, and Nereid's Ascension, normal and charge attacks 0.6% of Kokomi's max HP. Increase the level of Nereid's Ascension by 3. Alright, let's see where that bus dude is. None of them are in the tower, at least. Why did he spot us so quickly? That's...
ご安心を。やっ、せい。敵の大将をやっつけましたね。今が追い打ちをかける絶好の機会です。
The regen, great. Now they're both in. I didn't move her close. Oh, that must probably the box is full. Let's wait until we get, okay, here we go. 2,700. But that was without elemental reactions too. Plus that set isn't the best one for her.
ココミが考えてくれた戦術のおかげだ。
どんな戦術であろうと、最終的には誰かが実行しなければなりません。これまで勝利を収めてきた戦いにおいて、大事だったのは私一人の力などではなく、皆さんの努力なんです。
そうだな。オイラもすっごく貢献したもんな。
You did what now?
ですが、まさかファデュイがヒルチャールの拠点に潜み、これほど長くここで陣取っていたとは。彼らの目的は何なのでしょう。まさか本当に兵士たちの言っていたように天領奉行と結託を。この拠点を詳しく調査しましょう。あの商人が嘘をついていないのでしたら、品物はここにあるはずです。
おお、あたりを見てみようぜ。
Blinking in the camps we've cleared is one of the good things we're good at.
これはファデュイが貯めてた食料？これ探してた品物じゃないか？中にいろんなものがあるぞ。天領奉行の印が入ったものもある。これで間違いないみたいだな。うわ、これって全部爆弾を作る材料だぞ。
He's kind of made this her tent, huh? What you thinking?
はい。
He seems a bit out of sorts.
いえ、少し気が散っていただけです。
Are you getting
見せて
enough
ください。
rest? You've seen this all
はい。
before.
確かに商人さんが落としたもので間違いないようですね。食料、薬剤、農業用具、すべて戦後に必須となるものばかり。きっとこれらを
That
蓄
does
えて
line
おい
up
て
with what he said.
の、しかし天領奉行ではこれらのものが不足していないはず。彼が天領奉行に密輸しているとは
Good point.
大方儲けを出そうとした一介の商人でしょう。松田と内村が言っていたほど大げさなことではありません。
Does seem like me.
でもわざとみんなの必要なものを溜め込んでおくなんて
To make
そ
it
れは
profit,
それ
of
で
course. He's a
悪い
proper
やつだ
merchant.
と思う。このまま品物を返すのか？なんだかすっきりしないな。
It does belong to him,
安
and
心
he
して
did
くだ
buy
さい。こういった状況だった時のこともすでに考えてあります。
it. He had.
最新の戦後臨時法令の中ですでに必需品の値段上限を設けています。これらのものは最終的に適切な値段で人々の手に渡ることでしょ
So
う。
she's already thwarted
彼
his
が
plan.
もう少し早
The
く法
merchant.
令を見ていればこのような惨事にはなりませんでしたね。
おお、ここみは何でも考えてるな。
That is smart.
大げさです。現に天領奉行とファデュイが結託している噂について私には皆目見当もつきません。しかもちょうどエネルギーが不足しそうになっているこの時に。
So energy? Do you need rest?
ここみ、なんかいたか？
いえ、早くこの品物を持ち帰りましょう。祝賀会はもうすぐ始まります。このような面倒事は早く終わらせるに越したことはありません。
Well, then it's time to
おいら
get
たち
started.
も平和な渡積島で祝賀会をしたいからな。
So she really should get enough rest. Alright, time for another port. But we can't get terribly close to it, can we? It's kind of midway between those two. Of course, I usually end up coming in from this direction, and that's a lot of swimming. I didn't even really take note of Kokomi's ability to heal. Unfortunate. Wait, that's the wrong direction. Not you.
難攻不落。
They're hard enough to hit normally, and I now have to do with how difficult it is when I stream. Oh, it didn't drop anything. It's hard to tell because it could be due to lag. No, it didn't drop anything. The time trial here that I didn't do. I think it's a time trial. But it'd be more difficult to do while streaming because of the lag. Oh. This one, we start off on our own.
私の品物。ありがとうございます、サンゴノ宮様、隊長様。どうですか？冤罪だと言ったでしょ？
That on its own doesn't prove your
ど
innocence
うだ
or
か
guilt.
とっくにファデュイと話をつけてた可能性もあるかもしれないだろう。
ファデュイの拠点で得た情報から見て、彼は確かにファデュイと関わりはありません。ファデュイのやり方を考えれば何か証拠を残しているはずですので。
しかし
しかしも何もありません。品物は取り戻しました。先般の約束通り彼の汚名を晴らすべきです。
申し訳ございません。
軽率でした。
日頃から仕事をまともにしていない
Now's
間
not the
抜けなあ
time
なた
to
た
be
ち。
lording it over.
こうして面倒を引き起こすんですよ。やっと自分の間違いに気づきましたか。
商人さん、それを言うのはまだお早いかと。潔白を証明したとはいえ、わざと必需品を買いだめすることは今の政令によって罰せられる行為となっています。
Oh,
こ
Kokomi
れ
is
らを
leveling
自
her
分の
gacha.
品物だと認めた以上、私たちもそれ相応の対処をしなければなりません。
That's
適
you.
正価格での販売に加え罰金も課します。金額は
ちょっとお待ちを、サンゴノ宮様。私の味方だったんじゃ。
What do you mean by side?
もちろん違いますよ。私は渡積島の荒人神の巫女。心象出没の理念に従うのみ。功績ある者は賞し、罪ある者は罰する。汚名を晴らした後は自身の行為に対して代価を払う番です。
そんな。
ほら、
You
連
have
れて
to
くぞ
read。the fine print.
罰金を払いな。
サンゴノ宮様、この者が品物を自分のものだと言いましたが、やはり少々気がかりなことがあります。
What is that about?
天領奉行の印があるものは彼ので間違いないでしょう。しかし他の品物を見るとそうではないようです。
Oh, do you
特に
notice that in
こ
the
れらは
meeting?
明らかに神社で使われるもの。
ええ、大方ファデュイがよそから奪ったものも混じっているのでしょう。他の品物については持ち主を探しておいてください。神社関係のものは私が対処します。あなたたちには苦労をかけますね。
いえ、
Says the
とんでもありません。
overworked shrine maiden.
しかしサンゴノ宮様、証拠をつかむことはできませんでしたが、天領奉行とファデュイの結託は私たちの仲間がこの目で見たことです。和平
Allow
交
us
渉
to
について
investigate.
今一度お考えを。
わかりました。しっ
An
かり
open
と考
mind
慮
is
して
the
おきま
game.
す。私はこれら神社関連のものを持ってサンゴノ宮に戻ります。よければ
You mean a
一
literal
緒に行
walk?
きません
Because
か？
we've done all that before.
「渡積島の風土と人情は他の島々とは少々違ったものです。
We
慣れて
really
いた
are
だけ
just
ると
going
いい
for a
ので
walk.
すが。
What is? Oops. Oh god, she waits for us instead of going on ahead. Wait, is she
この村、
slightly faster than us?
私もだいぶ長いこと来ていませんでした。近頃は処理すべきことがあまりにも多く。今度機会がありましたら、あなたを渡積島のかつての神社へ連れて行ってあげますね。
Come on. Oh, it was another scene. I thought it was lag, but it was not.
実は最初、渡積島の神社はサンゴノ宮ではなく他の場所にありました。その場所とは渡積島の七天神像の近くです。当時渡積島は幕府ほど将軍を崇拝してはいなかったのですが、
Aren't
少
Shogun
なくとも
or
彼女の存在を認めてはいました。ですがあの人たちが振り落とされ、渡積島を守護する魔人が切られたことで かつての神社は放棄されたのです。その
Did
頃
we
よ
already
り
know this?
渡積島と幕府の関係は微妙なものとなり、互いの偏見はより深まっていきました。
To
今
repair
回の
that,
和
I
平
hope.
交渉において、私もこの問題を天領奉行ときちんと話し合いするつもりでした。
That would be
遠佐という
ideal,
のは
yes.
産後宮様、本日はどのような要件でここへ？なんだか顔色が以前に比べて良くない気がします。自分をいたわることをお忘れなきよう。
He's paying pretty
あな
close
たは
attention
私
to
た
her.
ちが一
はい、ご安心を。私は大丈夫です。
He is not
産
Daijoubu.
後宮様、どうか今一度お考えを。幕府軍とは長くにわたり戦ってきました。彼らと和解したら、かつて我々を守護してくださった魔人の死が無駄になっ
This
て
is
しま
completely
います。
different, Yuna-san.
おいおい、いい加減にしろって。いつの時代の話をしてるんだ。戦争は終わ
I
ったん
agree
だ。
with Yoko.
それはもちろんわかる。じゃが、
安心してください。このことは再度考え、最善を尽くしますので。
よかったです。どう？
Yeah, yeah.
あら、産後宮様、こんなところで会うなんて思ってもいませんでした。私の
Didn't
娘、
you know she was
今
coming?
年巫女選抜に参加することになったんです。あの子が産後宮に入れば、この先も安心です。産後宮様はお優しいの
Why are
で、
you
きっと
telling
よく
us
してくれま
this?
すから、機会があれば産後宮様にご教授してもらいなさいっていつも娘に言ってるんです。ほら、産後宮様ってお若いのにすでに人との接し方を心得ていて聡明でい
Yeah,
らっしゃ
yeah,
るで
she's
し
a
ょ。
role model.
彼女が産後宮に入った時は気にかけておきますね。
And
産
now
後
we're
宮様、
swamped.
やっと会えました。今年の農作物の生産量が減少した問題についてご報告したい。
産後宮様、こちらはメカジキ2番隊の隊長ですよね。彼はこれか
I'm
ら
a
も
traveler. I
渡
move
積
around
島
a
に
lot.
残る。
産後
Question
宮
answer.
様、
皆さん、落ち着いてください。すべてお聞きしますので。で
This
す
is
が、
just Barbara's
時
hangout
間
all
の
over
かかる
again.
問題は報
This
告
part
書
anyway.
にまとめて産後宮まで届けてください。時間の空いた時にきちんと処理します。
That's a perfectly reasonable request. But come on, don't swamp her like this.
大丈夫ですか？
This is testing my patience. I'm fine, but what about you?
どうやらあなたはこのような場面に慣れているようですね。
産後
I
宮
do
様、
much more fighting.
ここにいらしたのです
Another
ね。
one?
報告したいことが。祭礼用の道具がなかなか届
Oh,
かず。
those. We
何
found
も
them.
それならもうすでに取り戻っ
そうだったんですか。さすが産後宮様。それとここ最近の公文書を簡単にまとめてまた予定ですと、この後より繊維産業の発展に関する会議があります。
予定？今からですか？
Last track, huh?
遠くからいらしたお二方がすでに産後宮様。
わかりました。今日はあなたに渡積島を紹介しようと思ったのですが、どうやら先に要件を済ませる必要。明
Shame.
日、産後宮の門の前で会いましょう。それ、
おいしいもん。
もちろんありますよ。渡積島の特産。
やった
はい。
He's overworked. That's what it's Wait until 10 to 12 the next day. I hate when it says the next day. And again, it is basically a full day. I do this for the fishing. One side day side, the other night side, for every fishing site there that you want to get stuff from. Which reminds me, I probably should look into the fishing things in my Serenity bot. And what are these notices? Oh, the OSC. Those are always cool. The music of this is always a bang. of course, on Apple Music, Spotify, and everything else. There are YouTubers who tend to do compilation videos, which aren't necessarily bad things, since I don't think they profit from them. And they share the music so that more people become aware of it. I would like to know, though, whether or not MiHoYo is cool with using music in streams. Because if I can add it to my music resources, that would be great. But there's no clarity on that, so I don't know whether or not I should.
おかしいな。ここみは遅刻する。
Wait a bit.
なんで、あそこの兵士に聞いてみよう。
三五宮様に会いたい？ここにはいないよ。俺も三五宮様がどこに。いや、諦めるのはまだ早い。確か三五宮様が残した常備用の虎の確か第98条、私の不在時遠方より訪れし客を南へ導き、紫の葉が茂る木、それに注意書きも。三五宮様が理由を残さず不在の時、そして客人の身分が特別な場合にのみ適用される。お二人は遠くから来たお客さんだったね。この虎の巻に間違いはないはずだ。
ここみは本当にあらゆる状況を考えてるんだな。
It's in this direction. I do indeed see a purple tree. And if I take a high point, assuming... sort of. Not really what I wanted to do, though. Also, I marked something here, which is probably a cave.
ここか？なんだかどんどん遠くなってる気がするぞ。あの木、ここみの虎の巻に書いてあったやつに似てないか？
Cut her off. Yeah.
ここみいたのか。今日一緒に。
あなたたちでしたか。すみません。今日は少し具合が。
You're not making sure you get enough rest, are you?
待ってろ、すぐに医者を呼んでくる。
いいえ、一時的にエネルギーを使い果たしてしまっただけです。
Energy again.
エネルギー？まさかここ見て人間じゃ。
いえ、ただの比喩に過ぎません。お恥ずかしながらあのような万能な姿をずっと維持することはできないのです。
Like it sense things were getting to you.
気づいていたのですか？どうやら私もまだまだのようです。
That's not the issue.
もっと実は私は人の上に立つのがあまり得意ではないのです。もともと私は兵学を学んで幕僚になるのが夢でした。
It's pretty
他
modest.
人と会話し、気を配り、顔色を伺い、利益を分配する。私にとってど
Oh,
れ
that's
も
true
非常に
regardless.
大
It's
変なこ
all
とです。
hard work.
他の人を満足させるだけでなく、彼らに畏敬の念を抱かせるのは私の得意分野ではありません。むしろかつての私が関わりを持ちたく
I
な
don't
か
know
った
how I
分野
feel
なの
about
です。
this part of it. Trying to make people feel wonderful while you're a leader. I mean, it's great if you can as a bonus, but being an effective leader isn't just about that.
しかし、
But you do have to try your best for
羊の
your own
せい
sake.
で荒人神の巫女の
How
地位は
people feel
結
like
局私の
they're
元に
doing
やって
good
きまし
things.
た。好む好まざるに関わらずですので、 自分に限界が来た時、ここへ来るようにしているのです。
And you were
本
able
を
to do
読ん
that
で
this time?
仕事には影響しませんのでご心配なく。祝賀会の準備はすでに他のものを手配し
Navigation
ま
is
した。
also important for a
今
leader.
夜はまだ演説が一つ残っています。兵士たちに良くない印象を与えるわけにはいきません。やっとのことで勝ち取った平和。
She really doesn't have to make
彼らに
excuses
は
to
もっと
us.
息抜
We're
きをして
friends
ほしい。
after all.
何かオイラたちに手伝えることはあるか。
このまま放っておいてもエネルギーはゆっくりと回復していきます。ただ私の好きな兵学を聞かせていた
Oh,
だけ
great.
ると
We're gonna read to her,
よ
aren't
り
we?
確かこの前半分まで読んだ本が一冊ありました。ただどこに置いたのか忘れてしまい。
Go
オイ
ahead.
ラたちが探してくるよ。それをココミに読ませればココミも立ち直れるな。
本当ですか？ありがとうございます。
Yeah, we're gonna read to her.
やはりあなたたちが渡積島に戻ってきてくれて。
Request that too. Not that we don't
そこから
really
中に
like
入れるみたいだ。行ってみよう。公文書がたくさん。休みの時もこうして時間を空けて公文書を処理してるのか。
That's a bit much. She's a lot more like Jean than Barbara. Where she's kind of an idol, like.
サンゴノ宮事業活動の村流通報告。はあ、
All these reports.
こんなにたくさんのことを処理しなきゃいけないのか。それにココミは普段早く兵学の本を探して。
I'm genuinely surprised she's not more burnt out. We only have one thing highlighted at a time?
これを見ろ。ココミの探してた兵
Today
学の
I
本
spent the entire afternoon arguing with representatives from the Merchant Association. Energy -4. Many things must still be settled. I need to ensure that they allow the goods to flow smoothly, but I must make sure that the money is made through legal means. That was very taxing on her. Today I finished a day's worth of work. Energy -3. I have to write up another batch of directives tonight. Hopefully this won't go on too late. I still need to perform an inspection tomorrow. The wind is very strong outside. Energy -2. Seems like it will rain soon. I can only hope that the waves aren't as rough. Those who go out fishing can return safely. News of the peace talks reach us today. Energy +2. An end to this war will surely make everyone on Watatsumi Island happy, won't it? Today we received word that the Tenry Commission might be colliding with a tweet. Energy -5. Even I'm struggling to understand what's going on. The Fish Chief's captain came back today. Energy +4. Tacitly agreed not to speak of Tepe, and no one spoke of those who sacrificed their lives during the war. This peace was far too hard fought. Oh. Lots of people spoke to me today again. Energy -3. Looking at their earnest faces, I can't help think back to the time that I took up the post of Divine Priestess. Have I really lived up to their expectations all these years? It's really drained. We gave her back some energy, but definitely not enough to make up for this.
今日はメカジキ2番隊隊長が戻ってきた。エネルギー+4。ああ、それは。
We saw another.
返して。これも違うみたいだな。もう少し探そう。
Agreed. It really only gives us one at a time.
多分この本だな。ほら、ココミが挟んだしおりもある。しおりがないのはもう読み終わった本だろうな。なんか難しい内容で全くわからないぞ。
Got a brain juice again?
今すぐこの兵学の本を持って行って。
It'd be nice if Ether got more voice lines for this. illuminate tube.
よく覚えていません。少し読んでいただけます
To
か
the plan and plan to the situation. Attack where the enemy is weak. Emerge where the enemy is blind.
はい、それです。
Favorite military treatise.
ココミ
He's asleep, dude.
どうしよう。ココミが寝ちゃったぞ。
Better
今
freaking
夜は
rest.
祝賀会があるし、それにもうじき和平交渉も。まだまだやることが。本当に大丈夫なのか？でも確かに疲れてるみたいだ。
災いを払い、安寧を守る。戦争は終わりました。すべてがいい方向へ。あなたたち、見届けられましたか？
You sleep dogs. That wasn't necessarily good, given what she knows.
私、眠ってしまったのですか？
At least she doesn't
今
snore
は
in
何時で
Japanese.
しょう？
すっごく長い間寝てたぞ。もうすぐ映画が始まる時間みたいだ。
You really needed it.
そんなに長く。これほど安らかに眠ったのは久しぶりです。少なくともエネルギーも3点は回復したような気がします。
It's not a whole lot,
これで和平交渉の終わりまで耐えられるはず。
but she looks
あ
pleased
り
at
がとう
least.
ございます。私たちも早く栄華の場に行きましょう。
ここみがい
That's
つも
good.
の状態に戻った。
That's not full. Read the room. Well, how far is this? Well, we can teleport closer in this case. Kokomi is just like Jean and Barbara. And they really all just need to learn the same lessons. You really gotta take care of yourself.
どうやら祝賀会の準備もそろそろ終わるようですね。しかし宴が始まる前に私の方から簡単な演説をしなくてはなりません。
ココミのエネルギー足りるかな。
Said before that she
ご
should.
安心を。全く問題ありません。あなたたちのおかげでエネルギーがとても早く回
What's your
復しました。
usual regeneration rate?
よかった。オイラたちも応援してるぞ。
皆さんお疲れ様です。本日は祝賀会へようこそ。
Why are there kids here?
ついに我々と幕府軍の戦争は終わり、メガリレーの廃止も見届けることができました。稲妻の未来がどうなるのか私には予測できません。
Wow.
しかし私は明日天領奉行と和平交渉を進め、綿積島の平和のために最善を尽くします。皆さんのご尽力があったからこそこのような困難な戦いに勝つことができました。皆さんには感謝しています。この祝賀会はここにいるすべての方に用意したものです。苦労して勝ち取ったこの
Didn't say
勝利
anything
を
wrong,
しっ
but
かりと楽しみましょ
are there kids involved in this thing? It's to celebrate their efforts in the war. Does that mean that she
う。
is
宴
child
も順調で
soldiers?
何の問題も起きなくて本当に良かった。人は楽しい気持ちになると誰かに打ち明けたいという気持ちが高まる傾向にあるようです。
About the fatigue. Sure.
天領奉行とファデュイの結託について未だに決め手となる証拠がありません。明日の交渉で何か起きないか心配なのです。
わかった。オイラたちが調査してくるぜ。
I guess we talk to Hirai first.
サンゴノ宮様のおかげで渡積島に今の平和がある。
What new? Anything to
最
report?
近？そうだな。俺たちにとって一番の出来事といえば、海に出て魚を取れるように戦争をしてた時は海上に戦線がたくさんあったから、
What warships? I didn't see any.
近くで小魚やエビを取ることしかできなかった。収穫がほとんどない時もあって、みんな腹を空かせてたよ。子供がそれで泣いているのにどうすることもでき、毎晩腹がうめき声を上げ眠ることもでき
That's
ず、
rough, but you've got
そのまま
nothing
聞いた
to
よ。
do with the
メカジキ
Tenny
2番隊
Commission
の隊長なん
or
だってな。この戦いに勝つために手を貸してくれて本当にありがとう。
fishy fish.
さっき取ったばかりのこの魚を
いやいや、気にすんなって。
いいんだ。君がいなかったら俺たちはまだ腹を空かせてたかもしれない。
わかった。じゃあこれは受け取っておくよ。
Kabasama.
寄ってらっしゃい、見てらっしゃい。新鮮な果物と野菜、どれもお肉のお供にぴったりだよ。
What's new?
天
Anything to
領奉
report?
行とファデュイが結託していること？私もその噂を聞いたけど、それ以上は何
Just
も知ら
rumors,
な
but
い
at
よ。
least you've heard of
で
them.
も兵士たちがそわそわしているのは私も感じてたわ。ほら、あそこの兵士を見て。
The one doing
ここ最
exercises?
近あの人なんだかおかしいのよ。大きな声を張り上げながら長槍をずっと振り回しててね。
Doesn't sound very good. Perhaps we should have a talk.
せっかく戦争が終わったんだし、もうこれ以上何も起きないといいんだけど。
That's an interesting
私が知っ
sentiment.
てるのはこれだけよ。もし気になるのなら彼に聞いてみるといいわ。やっと手がか
りを見つけたな。早く行ってみようぜ。
Read. Seems strange that in the middle of the feast he would be doing exercise, just like that. Practicing his blade work. What is it?
どう？この人すご
On
く
top of
お
that,
酒
he's drunk.
お前は確かメカジキ渡積島に戻ってきてたのか。てっきり正体を見捨てて一人で逃げたのかと思ったぞ。
Not exactly wrong, but we did travel a lot.
どうだか平和やら安定やらみん
That's
な
because
そんな
peace
こと
has
ばっ
finally
か口
come.
にしてるが、
Worked really
抵
hard
抗
for
軍
it.
にとって一番大事なことが何なのか忘れてないよな。そうだ。お前にまだ抵抗軍の兵士たる資格があるかどうか。俺に勝ったらお前たちの質問に答えてやるよ。
なんかこの人とは会話がしづらいな。
Guess he's just not
ど
cut
う
out
する？
for
やるのか？
He'll be begging for talk. Sure, we're hardly going to lose.
そういうことは。
But we don't have a choice about whether or not we actually do with him. And he's on his back in a second. Is that it? No, it's hardly a thing.
強い。さすがサンゴノ宮様が選んだお
That's a
方
bit better than what we... Not necessarily better, but very different from what we did during the Crux
お
clash.
前にはまだ戦う意志が残っているようだ。もしかしたらお前なら俺たちを理解できるかもしれない。メカジキ2番隊の隊長、俺たちの仲間になってくれないか。
First, you've got to tell us what's going on.
天領奉行とファデュイの結託は
You
俺た
made
ちが
it
流したガセ
up.
だ。
You made it up. Do you have any idea how much that's tax, Kokomi? Over nothing now? I'm gonna make sure you're gonna get it. And of course I have to tell Kokomi.
そんな、ココミがずっと心配してたことなのに、どうしてそんなことするんだ。一歩間違えればまた天領奉行と戦争になっちゃうんだぞ。
That's part of it,
そう
yes.
それこそが俺たちの望む結末だ。
You want war
和平交
after
渉
everything?
そんなことばかり考えてたら渡積島に未来はない。
The heck are you
天領
talking?
奉行が考えを変えないと誰が保証できる？ライデン将軍が次のメガリレーを発令しないと
You think that
誰
you
が
don't
保
know
証できるんだよ。
Sarakujo or Raiden, I. And you should get to know that, although I'm not sure you would listen to them.
我々帝国軍に最も必要なのは戦う意志だ。
And this is why you should no longer call yourself the
信じるに値
Resistance.
しない。信じられるのは自分自身のみ。
It is deep-seated mistrust. Time to get
そ
over
れ
it.
も一理あるけど、なんだか言ってることに少し違和感が。
But you want to fight.
あ、そうだぞ。そんなこと言って結局そういった憶測のせいでガセ情報をでっち上げてたくさんの人が待ち望んだ平和を壊そうとしてるっていうのか？
何も知らんくせに俺に説教するな。お
It
前
is
らに
about
何
she
がわかる？
floats.
戦いに勝つため俺たちはずっと極限まで戦う意志を貫いてきた。それを今さらもう意
It's not
味
like
がない
none
だ
of
なん
it
て。
matters, we're just moving
俺た
forward.
ちに武器を下ろさせ一般人のように生活しろと言われてもそんなことできるわけないだろ。
You could be a militia soldier, you know.
目を閉じると見えてくるんだよ。あいつらの
And he's
姿が
got
道路に
survivor's
焼き
room.
付いて離れないんだ。だから俺は絶対に天領奉行とメガ
The
リレーを
Vision
許
Hunt
さない。
decree is gone. The
お
Tenure
前と
Commission
俺た
is
ちは
moving
どうしては
forward.
なかった
You
ようだ。
should too.
このことを三五宮様に。
The heck are you up to?
もしを決め込んでるぞ。どうしよう。緊急事態だ。早くココミに伝えよう。
Well, we finally know that they're just made up rumors, which is pretty disappointing.
とにかくそういうことなんだ。天領奉行とファデュイの結託はそいつらがでっち上げたことで和平交渉をめちゃくちゃにして戦争を続けるのが目的らしい。それにオイラたちが何をやってももう間に合わないって。
そうだ
What
った
they've
の
got
ですね。
planned, but you feeling on it?
大丈夫です。ご心配をおかけしてしまいましたね。このことは私のせいでもあります。私がもっと早く彼らの気持ちに気づけてい
We're
た
not
ら
responsible for how
こ
they
んなこ
feel.
とにはなりませんでした。光禅が言っていた間に合わない、何を指しているのか。和平交渉は明日ですが、双方の自衛はすでに交渉地点に到着し、周囲の安全を確認している状況です。光禅のような主戦派がそれら自衛に紛れて交渉の場を壊そうとしているのでしょう。
じゃあどうするんだよ。オイラたちが今からそこに行って自衛を交代させるか？
いえ、それでは妥当性に欠けます。第一に、私たちが新しい自衛を連れて中立地帯へ向かえば余計な警戒をさせてそれに
Also crab.
主戦派の兵士たちが早々に計画を実行し、天領奉行の自衛を攻撃して戦争を引き起こしてしまう可能性も。何よりこのことに参与している渡積島の兵士の数がわからない以上、人員を変えても結局意味がないかもしれません。
なんだか複雑だな。じゃあもう方法はないのか？
ご心配なく。ことが起きた以上、私が対策を考えます。
If you have the
兵士たち
energy
の
for
考
it.
えは間違っているとはいえ、全て彼らのせいということではありません。いずれにせよ、彼らの命をどう守るのか、その方法を考えなくては。明日またここで会いましょう。
Back to the shrine, feast continues. Where the crap? And we gotta wait again? I didn't get the ground. Well. And by next day, it means after this. Right? Even though it is tomorrow now. You know, it still says to wait. But the reason I did over by as much as I did was so that I could get to 10 now. Until so much waiting, I wonder if you could actually take on different quests while you did, until it was time. Probably. It does have time pass after all. Okay. What's next?
とうとう和平交渉の日ですね。準備は整いましたか？
Not sure what I'm supposed to do, but okay. What
こ
about
れ
you?
をあなたに。
What's this?
昨晩書き下ろした虎の巻です。今回の交渉は複雑ですが、187を超える状況には至らないと判断しました。
Just
これら
187, you
状
say?
況の対策をすべて書きましたので、それを参考にして臨機応変に対応してください。
うわ、分厚いどれどれ激しい言い争い、戦いの火花。
That's a lot of
多すぎ
situations.
る。でも、すべての状況の解決方法があるなんて、
If you're calm, others will be
そ
calm
れ
in
は良かった
reflection.
です。今回の和平交渉は非常に特別なもの。渡積島と幕府にとってとても重要なことです。しかし、渡積島の兵士たちが不満を抱いている以上、私たちは和平交渉において不利な状況に立たされ、渡積島の荒人神の巫女として、この責を担わなければなりません。私に力を貸していただけないでしょうか。それは良かったです。では、出発しましょう。
Well, let's see where these take place. A long way from Watatsumi. Or anything really. I'm trying to see... yes, that's the closest boat point. Well, I glide in there anyway. And my guy's still a bit injured so that I can use her favorite food, or is just having it going to work? Alright, time to get gliding. I suppose I could have switched to the fan too. Can I still do it? Switching gadgets as long as I'm not actually using it at the time? Yep. But I don't know if it's actually using it. Pardon me, I don't need that. How do I get rid of you? Okay. Wait, it's still visible. How do I get rid of that comment? Okay. That worked pretty well, actually. Too bad we can't use more than one at once. I'm gonna do a plunging attack into here. But the Arsena really does seem like it's
お
more
久しぶ
neutral.
りです。九条サラさん。前に会ったのは戦場でしたね。
Thanks for the reminder.
あの時はお前のおかげで苦渋を飲まされ
Is
た。
basically what she's saying.
ところで、なんでお前もいるんだ？
I'm here to witness the peace talks.
はい。彼は今回の交渉の証人となります。彼は私たちの戦いを最初から最後まで経験し、現在の平和に多大な貢献をもたらしました。彼以上にふさわしいものはい
Also,
ません。
don't you trust a friend of A's and Nico's?
では早速本題に入ろう。
Tit for tat peace
まず
talks,
は
it
海
calls
域
it.
の管轄権の問題だ。戦時中、私たちは鳴上島における綿積島漁師たちの活動を制限してきた。ここよりその制限を正式に解除しよう。だが収穫を綿積島に持ち帰るには、私たち鳴上島の税法にのっとって税を納めてもらう
Sounds
必要があ
reasonable.
る。
And if they want to sell in Narukami, they can,
です
right?
が、鳴上島付近で漁をする方に対し、天領奉行による庇護を約束してください。彼らにもし治安問題による損失があった場合、天領奉行が率先して解決をお願いします。
それは約束しよう。協約の中にも載せる。天領奉行がいる限り、彼らに危険はない。
なんかうまくいってるみたいだな。
So far, so
そ
good,
れか
but
ら
the
人
trouble
員の
hasn't
往来と
happened
常
yet.
備軍の所属問題についてだ。以前までは我々が綿積島に行こうが、綿積島の人間がこちらに来ようが、厳重な尋問を受けてきた。その結果、お互いの交流がますます減り、島々の間で商売をする商人もほとんどいなくなってしまった。戦争が終わった今、双方の貿易取引を担当する商人を社奉行から何人か選ぶことを提案する。
Didn't they also
貿易取引
responsible
は
religious
お
stuff?
互いに意思疎通を取らなければなりません。双方の商人に参加させるべきです。社奉行に完全に委ねることはできません。
I
だ
can
が私の知る限
probably
り、
trustworthy.
綿積島は現在あらゆる種類の物資が不足している。社奉行による統一管理はお前たちにとってもいいことだろう。
物資の不足についてはこちらが対処します。ご心配なく。それに綿積島は資源が豊富なため、多くの商人がここへ来たいと願っています。ましてやこういうことは上里家と相談するべきこと。天領奉行はここまでの権能は持ち合わせていないはずですよね。
だったらひとまず治安について話そう。担当直入に話すが、綿積島の治安部隊を天領奉行の管轄下に戻したいと思っている。
That's not something they'll
当
agree
分
to.
の間、それは不可能なことです。
不可能なことなどあるまい。天領奉行が稲妻の治安を管理している以上、綿積島をこのまま例外にするわけには。
卑劣な九条家め、貴様らはファデュイと結託し、俺たち綿積島のすべてを奪おうとしてるんだろう。
And there it is.
野郎ども、
We
九条
have
家を
seen.
信じる
We
な。
don't even
俺
get a
に聞
choice
け。
yet.
九条様を守れ。
Everyone sit down. He just gave her the book. Calm the heck down.
第16条、いやいや67条か、それとも73条。
She's right there.
どれを使えばいいんだよ。
Sit down. She's realizing with their uncertainty. First move will define everything that they do. Which is why she's just sitting down calmly. This is the right move.
ここみ、この状況は虎の巻の第何条を使えばいいんだ。
最後の1条です。しかしあなたたちが手を出す必要はありません。ただかつ状況が変わりました。あなたたちは横で待機してください。ご安心を。あなたたちの思いは理解しています。後のことは私に任せてください。九条さん、このことについて我々渡積島に説明をしていただけませんか？
ああ、少し待ってくれ。全員私の調査が終わるまで手を出すな。お前たち2人こっちに来い。
So what's going on now? An investigation?
いえ、お前たちは本当にファデュイと結託しているのか？
それはその結託とまでは。何人かのファデュイたちが渡積島との戦争を引き延ばすために共に協力しようと言ってきたんです。それでどうせ害もないと思ったので。ですが私たちは同意したわけではありません。ただ彼らに渡積島で大暴れをさせてから状況を判断しようと。九条様、私たちは彼らと結託なんてしていません。ただ少し前に一度話をしただけです。それがなぜ渡積島の人に知られたのかは分かる。
もういい。戻って罰を待つんだな。何がどうあれ、そいつらはファデュイだ。奴らが私たちにしたこと、もう忘れたのか？
Exactly.
協力どころか、最初から関わり合いを持つべきではない相手だ。奴らの目的は何だ？
ファデュイの主力はすでに稲妻から撤退しました。私たちを訪ねたのは彼らの親分の敵討ちをするためだったようです。
あの女の部下か。復讐を果たし、稲妻をまた混乱に導こうとしているのか。いつか必ず私が奴らを全員捕らえる。この件に関しては確かに我々の問題だ。すまない。私の管理不足でこのような局面をもたらしてしまった。今一度和平交渉を続ける機会
を。もちろん九条さんがこのことをうまく処理できると信じていますよ。ですが自分たちのことですら管理の行き届いていない天領奉行に渡積島の治安を預けるのはいささか不安が残ります。
返す言葉もない。この議題はひとまず置いておこう。天領奉行の管理改善を済ませてからまたきちんと話し合いの場を設けさせてくれ。商人に関することは私も社奉行と相談し、双方が参加できるようにする。
なんだか九条サラの勢いが一気に弱まったな。これで交渉がうまくいくはずだ。
Hopefully.
まさか渡積島の軍師が戦いだけでなく交渉にも秀でていたとは。次会う時はまたこうして座りながら話し合いをしたいものだ。戦場でのお前は厄介すぎる。今日はここまでにしよう。私も戻って天領奉行の内部問題について徹底的に調査しなければならない。
ファデュイの拠点はすでに私たちが潰しました。もうすぐ彼らから支援の要求連絡が入るでしょう。相手に感づかれないよう、まずは彼らに従い、現れたところを一網打尽にすることをお勧めします。
考えておく。
It's like a future operation for us, isn't it?
では私はこれで。次また会おう。
三五宮様、我々は
渡積島に戻ってからにしましょう。
Seems like there were some people on both sides who wanted things to continue. The war, even with all of its disadvantages. It could also come from the center. It's a shame there are no teleport points directly in the village, although I guess we could have laid down a portable waypoint if we really wanted to. They're not exactly simple to make, though. Plus, you can only have one in operation at a time. Something they should expand upon, since the map is so huge. Oh, this did drop something. Should be able to reach it perfectly from here. I didn't see anyone. Well, let's see what she decides about them.
サンゴノ宮様、すべて知っていたのですか？
あなたたちが事を起こした原因、すでに聞いています。天領奉行が信じられないため、和平交渉をせず、戦い続けたいのでしょう。
At the same time, some of them wanted to exchange.
確かに当てずっぽうで彼らの陰謀を見抜くことができました。ですが、あなたたちのやり方を認めるわけにはいきません。
しかしサンゴノ宮様、我々は多くの仲間を犠牲にしてきました。このまま足を止めてしまったら、
No, because peace and the abolition of the decree was what we
このまま
wanted.
戦争を続けることを望みます。私が犠牲になっても構いません。完全な勝利を得られるのなら。
あなたたちの考えも理解はできます。ただし、その考え方で他人を巻き込むようなことはしないでください。戦時中、悲しい出来事が多々あった反面、勝利の味も経験してきました。あなたたちにとっては戦意ですが、あなたたちの見えないところで毎日苦しい思いをしながら生きてきた人々もいたのです。渡積島の人々が平和を願うのは、一人一人が戦争にたくさんの力を費やしてきたからです。彼らはもう疲れ切っています。あなたたちをもう一度あの日々に戻すわけにはいきません。
しかし私は。
分かっています。すべてあなたたちのせいというわけではありません。私の考え不足でした。あなたたちに戦う意志を持つよう伝えたのに、それをどう手放すか教えなかったのは私です。
サンゴノ宮様のせいではありません。私たちの身勝手が招いたことです。
She's managed to make them feel
何にせ
guilty.
よ、軍法による処置を受けます。
はい。では、処置を言い渡します。
They might make good soldiers, though, for the militia.
今日より秘密軍隊を設立することに決めました。渡積島の安全を守り、一切の危険を島から遠ざけてください。そしてあなたたちと同じ考えを持つ者の加入を許します。ですが訓練は非常に厳しいものになるため、しっかりと頑張ってくださいね。
サンゴノ宮様、それはどういう。
今回の交渉から見て、九条家も当分の間は平穏を保てないでしょう。平和を望む者もいれば、戦争を望む者もいます。 渡積島が平和を望んでいるとはいえ、自分たちを守るくらいの力は必要です。あなたたちにまだ戦う意志があるのなら、今日から厳しい訓練を受けてもらいましょう。一人一人が戦いの場で幕府の武士を2人やっつけられる程度になるまで。
ありがとうございます、産後宮様。
And she's just giving them a new go.
五郎のところで訓練を申し込んでください。今後は何が起きようと自分勝手な行動は許しません。もし次またこのようなことがあれば、理由を問わず弁解の余地がないことをお忘れなく。
かしこまりました。今後は精一杯訓練に励みます。こんな機会を与えてくださり誠にありがとうございます。では私たちは五郎様のところに行ってきます。
This was much better than I expected. Why did she appear to be that so much less intelligent
や
in
っと
English?
これで適切な解決ができました。なんだかまたエネルギーが減り始めたような気が。一緒に秘密基地へ行って休みませんか？
A lot of moving around and talking. That's for sure. She's not saying any of the stupid things that she did in the English translation.
あなたのおかげで渡積島はまた平和を取り戻せました。
How are your energy levels?
はい、ゆっくりと回復しています。しばらくすれば完全な状態に戻れ
You
るでしょう。
seriously need to rest well.
やはり人の多い場面は苦手です。以前よりはだいぶ進歩しましたが、それでも人が多くなると少々慌ててしまいます。
Well,
交
introverts
渉などは
need levels.
今度から五郎に任せるとしましょう。
You did an admirable job. And
そうでしょうか。
delegation is the
で
correct
も
choice.
荒人神の巫女としてはまだまだ力不足が否めません。
Still young.
以前は
Still
勝
with
つこ
room
とだ
to
けを考
improve.
え、
Out.
渡積島の安寧を維持し、一人一人が楽しく生活できることを望んでいました。しかし今になってそれだけでは足りないことに気づいたのです。人の願いは千差万別、幸福の基準も無論異なります。私の歩むべき道はまだまだ長いようですが、問題ないでしょう。一
Well,
息に歩
smaller
けない
steps
とい
are
うのな
better
ら
anyway.
ゆっくりと歩いていけばいい。今の私はまだまだ未熟者ですので、もう少しだけ渡積島に残り、私と一緒にいてくれませんか？
I mean, we're not moving on to Sumeru for a while. So, what's this part? Is there more to a story, or... Oh, that's why that was.
流通のために作られた船は港に止まる。
Well, I guess now is as good a time as any to try to roll for her. I should have plenty of the thing that she likes. There we go. which I can offer to her. And I have lots of people in my party who are hard workers just like her, who can appreciate her position. Once again, I'm not going to roll on the weapon banner, even though Primary Jade Cutter is tempting. I'm just going to go for this. Although, let's see, I think it's Max, Beto, Rosaria. Let's see how many I need. Did I pass? Rosaria? She's full. Which probably means I'll get a lot of her. She's C5. And I'm pretty sure Joe is C6. I don't need a lot of any of them. But I do want to get Kokomi just in case she's buffed, and also because she's a dedicated healer. Only one. Let's see what happens. I have plenty of snacks to offer. No, I didn't skip in time. Rosaria. And an Eye of Perception. And a Beto. 3 5 stars is pretty good. I don't have the ability to activate another constellation on Beto. Maybe I should start doing single pulls. The Beto and 0 conversion. I don't like doing single pulls though. It just takes that much longer. I'm going to hard pity, aren't I? Another temple with basically nothing good on it. Oh, there's the 4-star. And there's another bite. Beto. And here comes my 5-star. Question is, will I win the 50-50? And I do. I guess the easy-to-make meal really was the thing. And she can get a Favonius Codex if she wants. Is that a good one for her? Does it have HP? It's an energy recharge. Crit hits have a 60%. Well, she's not gonna be critting anything. So Favonius Codex is wrong for her. Let me take a look. And also activate this. Red Determination's attack decreases opponent's physical res by 20% for 10 seconds. Would be good coupled with physical builds as well as, of course, Eula. I did at one point think that Kokomi might be good with the crit weapon, but only if you can get her crit up. So it starts at minus 95 as opposed to minus 100. And the crit damage is 50? What she got on her that's 50? Does she automatically just have 50 on her? These 61, 94%. Regeneration 4.4%, max HP plus 424, ripple damage 1.9. 1.4% max HP, everything from max HP. If her Black Ekoregi are on the field when she uses Narrate's Ascension, the Black Ekoregi illustration will be refreshed. While donning it, normal and charge attack bonus charge gains based on her max HP will receive a further increase based 15% on healing bonus. The healing bonus is a stat that she needs. 25% healing bonus, but a 100% decrease in crit rate. So where does she get 5% the crit from? Normal charge with a 50% chance to fire a bolt of perception, dealing 200% test damage, and bounce between opponents. Base and attack and attack. Color Pearl might be good for her. And it says cryo, but it would be funny if he could freeze just with one character. You could share Thrilling Tales. I mean, the width Sith is okay for something. Here. I have enough Thrilling Tales to do another one R5, but I don't think I would ever have two on the same field. Although, because that has HP on it. What about this? This has crit rate on it. But I'd still have to get her crit rate above 150% for that to work. Could give her Solar Pro, which has the same issue. Mappa Mary. But this one has HP on it too. The prototype Amber might be good for her. It regenerates energy and 4% HP. And I think it might work better for her than Thrilling Tales because a lot of Kokomi's stuff relies on her being on the field, I think. Maybe. So I could try it with her. And this would be more for damage. Still, when I build her, maybe I should keep one of these. Just in case I need both. Because the, when you come down to it, Spiral Abyss had some pretty nasty surprises. So I'd like to keep the option open at least. Now, as to artifacts, I'm not really sure what I have when it pertains to the stuff that would work best for her. Not Reminiscence, I think. Out of the new ones, Emblem of Severed Fate might be good for her. Out of Depth, one of the ones that they gave in the trial, but I don't see that working very well for her. And then there's No Bliss. And of course, there's Maiden Beloved too. We do two-piece Maiden's Beloved, two-piece Emblem. I don't have another emblem for that yet. And there's HP. There's the main stat, only one of them does. And crit rate, so that's not great either. That's not great either. I'll be hold her over until I can get something better for her. Got a ZM on it. Physical damage bonus. Unless I have a hydro damage cup, which is unlikely. This one has a healing dome, so. This has HP percent and HP on it, but not as a main stat. I was only looking for HP or heals. Oh wait, they're not going to be because this is a feather. It's already plus 20, so she can hold on to it at least for now. And I'll build her later, I think. Well, I think for this time, do kind of as quick a tier list as I possibly can. And let's see, bring the music back. And make sure that I have the tier up here. So that I can do this. And switch to it, although it's the same screen, so yeah. Here we go. Here is our tier list. I'm gonna keep myself where I am. So the way I'm going to do this is I am going to I think what I will do anyway is I will try to consider all the different things that I can. I'll consider aesthetics. I will consider their gameplay mechanics, how fun they are. Damage, how easy they are to build, how easy they are to access, to get to. As much as I possibly can in order to judge where they would be here. And I think most of the time they would start somewhere in the seas, but we'll see. I wanted to add a tier. That's just called. And I rename this? Yeah, it already did. So that's going to be trash tier. So let's start off with Traveler. Yes, Ether has higher attack speed, I think? No, movement speed than Lumine. But still... No, he's kind of middle of the road. Jack of all trades, master of none. And oftentimes is the first to get replaced on the roster anyway. He does have okay aesthetics, but he doesn't really end up doing a whole lot, especially compared to the others. He could be better, but I think he's merely passing. He's C tier. I can't really actually speak to Albedo all that much because I don't have him. I know that he has good resonance and stuff with others. But I'm going to keep him there because I don't have that much experience with him, nor have I mastered him. So I'm going to keep him out. And by the way, this is a tier list according to 2.1. Okay. So this is according to our experiences thus far. Amber. Aesthetically, she's got a nice outfit. She's very cute. So that would take her up a tier all on its own, in my opinion. Unfortunately, her attack power doesn't really do her all that much favor. She does have Baron Bunny, which is a good, fairly effective decoy doll, and it is fairly entertaining sometimes to watch it dance. Some people find that it's annoying that it has to run out of HP first before it can explode, but that just means there's more time to draw the enemy in my opinion. Plus, she has good utility for solving pyro puzzle. So I think that she's the top of C tier. Ayaka. Her appearance is good. She's actually one of the very few to wear armor. And her skills are good. Only her burst happens in a cone. So you have to make sure that you catch enemies in it or you lose it, which is kind of familiar to those maybe who have and have used Delic a lot. But she is good, and she has alternate sprint, so she's as effective as Mona is getting around, more effective even on the water, because she can freeze it and stand on it when she exits up. So I think that she's A tier. I don't want to put Albedo on yet because he could be high tier. So Barbara. Our first dedicated healer, everybody gets. And I should also mention Amber, not so easy to get, it turns out. Beyond her free version that you get at the start of the game, getting her constellations turns out to be much harder, because she's only available on the standard banner, and you effectively have to lose the 50-50 in order to get her. Although she is a 4-star. So, as far as the version of her I have, is level 6 currently, and only C1. So, not all that easy to build, it turns out. At least if you want to get her to overpower. Let's move on to Barbara, who is going to place. Our first dedicated healer everyone gets, and she pops up a lot on banners, so she's very easy to get. She's also very cute, which would move her up to about Amber's level. She's more difficult to get into DPS, but she can be, I have seen. but I don't use her a lot. So I'll probably use her more when it comes to Abyss. So I am going to put her, or keep her with Amber here at C tier. Beto. She wields a big sword, she looks fantastic, and she's got a very interesting character, very nurturing towards men in the crew of the Crux fleet, and she's well respected even among those in the law despite being a pirate. She's friends and rivals with Ningguang. And she's just about the only character who has a mechanic of full counter, where the more she's hit, the stronger she hits back. Unfortunately, she does not work all that well with Raiden's skills in bursts, so that takes her down a peg as well. You have to wait for enemies to attack her back, but I do use her consistently against at least one of the bosses, who is the Geo Hypostasis. So I feel comfortable moving her up to A tier. Bennett. That may look kind of wonky, and his backstory is kind of sappy, but his abilities are indisputable. He is the best healer in the game, and he does have great DPS, especially for a 4-star. Which, I mean, Beto is a 4-star, Amber is a 4-star, Barbara is a 4-star, but a lot of times when MiHoYo wants to sell a new character, they put Bennett on the banner in order to sell it. Why? Because they know how effective he is. He's S tier, without a doubt. Best healer, high DPS, great support. Chongyun. Unfortunately, I don't use him a lot, but that's mostly because when I tried to test him out originally, he didn't have that high DPS reflected. In fact, it was lower than Xingqiu's, which is why I would put him pretty low right now, but I am going to build him when I have better constellations for him as well. So right now he is less useful to me than Barbara is, which is saying a lot, but I know that he has good synergy with a lot of other characters like Xingqiu and Zhang Ling. So he might go up later on, but right now he's this. Diluc. I kind of feel comfortable putting him in A tier because even though he doesn't have a lot of utility, he still has high DPS. Not the highest now, but he was fantastic when he started. I've only experienced him in the trial, but still, he has 3 elemental skills that he can use before they all go into cooldown, which means that he has high DPS, but that's about it. He's not a tank, he's not a healer, he's just pure DPS, which might bring him down to B tier. But I kind of feel comfortable putting him like that. Ziona. At least A tier. And this is because, unusually for an archer or a bow user, she has great utility. She heals, she shields. She doesn't hit quite as hard as the other archers, but she's still better because she has those utilities. Her aesthetic is kind of wonky in my opinion, especially with that hair tuft at the front knot, but that's not too big a deal against her. And she is pretty sassy. But if you don't have many other healers or shielders, you should at least have a Diana, because she's great for what she is, having both the shield and the ability to heal with her ult. and she lays down a field which any ally can use. Just like Bennett has the field, which by the way doesn't just heal, it buffs. And she buffs too. She's almost actually S tier by her abilities. And available. Fish. Official. Probably I could feel comfortable putting her in the A tier too. She comes up fairly often. She was, just as Yona was, a free character in an event, although if you missed her, that's really unfortunate because she didn't come back that way. Between her and Oz, she can lay down some significant damage and fairly easy to get. She was my main ranged DPS until Ganyu came along. And that means that she already replaced Amber. And the more constellations you get, the better the damage becomes. So she really is very, very good. And she's Electro, so she has a lot of utility. Of course, most of her effects come from Oz, but that still means that she's pretty okay. Now, Ganyu is going to skip all the way up to S tier. Even right out of the box, right out, straight away, her DPS is nuts, but only with her lever 2 charged attack, which kind of means that she's also has some pretty good balance, because she's also vulnerable to attack and fairly fragile, which you might not think is a good thing, but it is, because it means that she's not entirely broken. And of course, her constellations can help her, but she's very difficult to get. The only reason why I'm not dropping her to A tier despite the difficulty is because she's so popular that there's no doubt that MiHoYo will run reruns of her banner and keep running them until people are satisfied they got C6 or whatever. And she does have a decoy, though it's not a dancing doll like Amber's. And her burst has a wide range AoE, and it sticks around for a long time, so it's very good. The only reason why she's not above Bennett here is because Bennett is so much easier to get. And because Bennett has so much more utility. He's a healer, he buffs. Ganyu has a slight buff, but does not heal, does not tank. So he has better utility. Wu-Tao. Just like Ganyu, another possible main DPS unit. She has a certain aesthetic a lot of people find cute, and a lot of people find her manner cute. I find her annoying in English. She's much easier to withstand in Japanese, although her pranks great on a certain number of characters. But she hits hard, can hit harder, works with HP artifacts, and heals herself so she can stay on the field for longer, which is pretty great. Jean, I think, is the bottom of A tier. She does have a heal field just like Bennett does, but she's not as effective as a DPS because she's an Anemo, and she doesn't heal quite as much, although she can top them up, so she is a good unit to have. But I don't think she's quite S tier. Also, she looks pretty good. Yeah. I think I feel comfortable putting him in B because while he has good utility, his personality grates on a certain number of people. He has a good aesthetic. He's the first male character we're really introduced to. And he's got an interesting story, which I'm sure will be more revealed as we reveal more about Kenrea. Because that is where he's from, along with Dimeslave. But just like with Amber, he can be hard to build Constellation because he's only on the standard banner. And I don't really have a lot of him. I think I have more of Lisa than I do him. In fact, my KO is C0, whereas my Lisa is C2. And that is pretty nuts to consider, especially when you think of how long I've been playing this game. But his skill comes up pretty often, and he can be built fairly easily once you get him, so I feel comfortable putting him there. Kaching. I use Kaching a lot, so I feel comfortable putting her in the middle of A. I use her for travel, I use her for fast attacks, which I enjoy a lot of. And she looks good. She even looks kind of like a cat, even though those aren't cat ears, those are her hair. So she often finds herself on my teams, and she performs pretty well there. And she's got an asymmetrical design, just like Fischl does. And she's open to different things. So at first, she was against relying on the gods, but then she came to realize exactly how much work Rex Lapis put into things and got to appreciate him more, to the point where she kind of, well, she has his merch. I'm gonna put Klee here, and some of you may not like me for this, but I think she belongs there because even though her DPS can rival Diluc's, probably higher than him in some respects, she is very, very fragile, so she needs a shield. And her attack patterns are kind of clunky, kind of slow. So it takes a while to get used to, but she can be effective once you get to that point. But again, a 5-star who's very hard to get because you can only get her on her banner. That's the same for all of the limited characters, just like Ganyu and Hu Tao and Ayaka. But she doesn't have anything to protect herself, and she doesn't heal, so she's very straightforward DPS, just like Diluc is, but Diluc is easier to use and hardier. So I kind of do wish that I had him. Lisa I put here because she can be interrupted easily. Actually, I'll put her here. She can be easily interrupted, even though she has a lot of utility on the field with elemental reactions, especially with these two elements. She can get knocked around a lot, and she's very fragile. She does look good, and she has a lot of that RR energy, of course. That's why people like her. But no, I don't use her. I just don't. Yumine. Honestly, the same as either. Even though one has better attack speed, the other has better movement speed. They're basically the same. I think Lumini might actually be easier to use, but again, Jack of all trades, master of none. But you can't really do anything about that, and you can't blame her for it either. Mona. I think she belongs up here in A tier. I don't use her as much as I do Kaching, but I do use her for travel, same as I do Ayaka. And I also use her to apply Hydro, and she can always apply Hydro, which is good, especially against the Pyro Cube, the Hypostasis. which is why I want to take her with me. So you can apply it more than Xingqiu can, because Xingqiu has to wait for his skill cooldown. It's in her attacks. Plus there's her look, which you can't really argue with, can you? So I think she's A tier. Ying Guang. Although I don't use her much, I'm going to put her here at A tier, behind Aika and ahead of Diona. She's great at mining. She's the first catalyst user to have an extended range for her attacks. Her veil can boost Geo, which is great, and protect against incoming projectiles. She looks great, she's got some RR energy, and she's more utility. But she doesn't have crazy attack. It's more moderate, which is why she's merely the middle of A tier. Noelle. I'm gonna put there, even though most of you won't agree with it, I'm pretty sure. And this is because, why did I put that on all the stuff? You can see all my tabs are open. Oh well. It doesn't show anything that I can't really show off anyway. Anyway, I'm putting Noelle up here because she's guaranteed for people to have. Everyone has her. She starts to get crazy the more constellations you have. She has great aesthetics. And she's reliable tanking as well as healing. More moderate healing, so she's good to have with Hu Tao. And once you have her at C6, she gains massive boost to her attack. So she's great utility. At a certain point, once you build her, she can tank, she can heal, she can damage. She is the entire package. Except of course for elemental reactions, because she's Geo, you can't use Melt, she can't use Superconduct or anything like that. You can use Shatter, but that's about it. But that's why she's not higher than Ganyu, in my opinion. Chi-Chi I don't have experience with her. I can't place her. Razor. He Wolf Boy. He's a good boy. He attacks fast and hard. He has a stand. He does some good physical. He does a good electro. But I don't use him much. So he's top of B tier. Sucrose. I'm gonna put all the way up here because she's fairly easy to get, much easier than Venti is. She has good grouping ability, she can get her ult up fairly quickly, so she can put Swirl on very, very easily. Which is why, to me, she's up here, up S tier. But she doesn't do a lot of damage, being Anmo and being a Catalyst user, so she's below Hu Tao. She is above Jean, because while she doesn't heal or tank, she leads to great elemental reactions more easily. Child. To be honest, I don't use him a lot. It's not like I don't completely understand him. He can be tricky, but he is also useful. I'm going to put him here, near the bottom of A tier. I understand that people like him. I don't like his personality all that much, actually. I'm going to put him here, because of his personality. Venti, if you can get him, is a great Swirl Conductor. You can get his skill and his ult up very, very quickly. And he looks so good that he convinces most people that he's a she. Oh, he does use the male pronoun. Being a spirit, he can be any gender he basically wants. And he's the first Archon you meet. So a lot of your impression relies on him. I am going to drop Jiangling here. Reason being, she's guaranteed. You get her from clearing floor 3 on the Abyss, you can get her as well from the limited character banner, and she's up pretty often. She also has pretty high damage ability with her Pyronado. And, if you're lucky enough, Gerber can perform reasonably well. I think I've been lucky with him too. So the ease of getting her combines with the damage that she can do to bring her, I think, just slightly above where Fu Tao is. And she's fairly easy to build. The more constellations you get of her, the better she becomes. And you're not going to be able to get as many constellations as easily of Ganyu, or Fu Tao, or Ayaka, or Jin, or Venti. So she's easier to build and easier to damage with. Zhao. You're probably going to hate me for this, but I'm going to pop him at the bottom of B. And I'm putting him there because he is somewhat harder to build. Some would say that he's easy, but he's extremely fragile. He's a fragile speedster, so he's difficult to use in much the same way that Klee is hard to use for Lisa. So just be thankful I haven't put him lower. I especially didn't like the fact that Mihoyo gave him C3 for the trial. I thought that was very deceptive, and I haven't used him very much because he can be more difficult to use. In order to get basically his best out of him, you need his alt up. You don't necessarily need his skill, which is good for traveling, but you do need his alt. And that's basically all he is. So he can do good squirrel. It's not as easy to do it with him as it is for Sukurusa, Venti, or Jin, which is why I think he's B tier. He's not as easy to build as Kea is, can be kind of clunky like Klee, but I can understand as well, like some people like him more. Jingzhou. I'm having a hard time, but I think he's somewhere here. Somewhere in the middle of A tier. Because he's great support, he can attack pretty well, he is a 4-star. So maybe because of that I should put him here. He is easier to get than any of the 5 stars. But his skill and his burst require a long time to come up, unless you've geared him to recharge all that much faster, in which case he damages less. But he applies Hydro fairly well. Not with everything like Mona does, but he is easier to get. His personality is kind of teasing, which gets in the way sometimes. He's not as likable as some of the other characters. So I think I'll actually drop him below Pitching. But actually, these 3 together, because of personality, kinda makes sense. So yeah, I kind of feel comfortable with that. Zinnia. Unfortunately, we don't see a lot of her. She's somewhat hard to build and use. Until we get story, I'm going to put her here. She is hardier than Klee. She does have a shield. Actually, I'll put her top of B. Because of the shield, she does have pretty good utility, and her burst has a wide field that does some pretty good damage. So I think that makes sense. Zhongli. I'm gonna put him here. Below Ganyu, but definitely S tier. He's not easy to get, of course. Lots of people want him right now. No one could get him because he's not on the active banner. But once you have him, you have someone who can become an invincible shield. And he can drop a planet on people with his burst. And both of them are up fairly quickly, so you can keep on using them. He constructs a steel, which you can climb in order to get places, and does damage and does resonance with other geostructures. So he's a great character. He's just very, very difficult to get. To that extent, maybe Noelle is above him because you will have her. She's guaranteed, but her abilities aren't up as often as his. So I kind of feel comfortable with that. Rosaria. Looks-wise, she's definitely A tier, and she can damage, but she doesn't have that great utility. She is 4-star. I'm gonna put her here. I don't use her very often, but she can improve people's crit. So the middle of A tier kind of makes sense for kind of a hot nun character. And she can be fun to use. She does run at night. But I don't use her very often, do I? Eula. I'm going to put her here. She is fun to use quite a bit. She uses a massive sword, a claymore. She attacks fast. She's probably the fastest with the claymore, making it pretty easy to use. Although, I think Diluc also attacks pretty fast, but Eula can use both cryo and physical fairly easily. And her moves are like she's dancing, which I just can't get enough of. Plus there's her aesthetic, which is great. And she's pretty cute once you get used to her whole vengeance thing, which she doesn't really say in the Japanese. She says, "I will remember," which makes her a lot easier to get along with. She doesn't do elemental reactions as well as, say, Hu Tao, which is why she's below them. All of them. Plus, she's a 5-star limited character, so she's very difficult to get. Yanfei. As opposed to Zinnia or Klee. I'm gonna put her here. She's above Klee because she is easier to get. She does similar damage, she's just lacking in the bombs, which could get sucked up by Jean or by Kazuha, I think. Unfortunately, Venti and Sucrose can't, I believe. So that's unfortunate. But she's also very fragile. So that's why she's in here. Kazuha himself. I'm gonna put above Venti if only because he can be sanctioned on the bombs, which doesn't just count for Klee. Aloy has them too. And to be clear, I don't have Aloy because I don't have a PlayStation, but I know that she uses cryo bomblets, which are as important as Klee's bombs. And that's the way that they both deliver damage, so it's important that there be someone who can move them. And that's Kazuha. Kazuha's also much better than Zhao because he can pop up with his skill as opposed to Zhao using his ultimate all the time, and he can use it to extend his flight by popping up a bit every now and again. And he looks pretty cool. And he's got a gentle personality, but he's firm. So that's why he's up there. He's a pretty fun character to use, sort of in the way that Eula is also fun. So that's why I think he's there. Yoimiya. Poor Yoimiya kind of got the brunt of something bad, but I think that she's good and that she can be good too. Unfortunately, she just doesn't work the way that she should because of the targeting, but if you can, and if you can build her, she can be to single target DPS what Ganyu is to multi-target DPS. Because you use her skill, she makes her arrows all do pyro damage, and then you and you do damage that way. Then once that runs out, you pop her Q, switch to another character, do massive attack, and when you come back, do it all over again. But again, single targets. When you have multiple targets, you have an issue because there's no guarantee who she will be targeting, so you can't do consistent damage to one. And I guess you would start off with a fully charged attack, then switch to E, like I said. Which she can be good if she's overheld slightly. Which also stands for these guys, because if you look here, these are mostly characters who have been in the game for a really long time, and they need their stats adjusted, their kit adjusted, so that they can stand with the newer characters. Sayu. I think I would be willing to put her here. I'm kind of also nudging into S tier if I'm honest, because she's so fun to use in her rolling. But I haven't used her in combat very much because I haven't built her. I don't have her fish weapon yet either. But she rolls, she's very, very fast, she can heal. And other than that, really I haven't used her all that much, which is why I'm putting her at A tier, but she is fun. Why are there two crossbows? Is that for someone else? In their tunnel. I'm willing to put Raiden here despite what everyone says about her being lacking, because she works well with most characters and she's pretty powerful. Even with just the catch and not her best weapon, she's still pretty powerful and help the other characters charge up their ults and buff them, which is all very important. And it's interesting that she's so generously supported towards others when most of what she was trying to do previously was so selfish. I think it points to her true nature. Sarah I haven't used much, to be honest. But for now I will put her here, because a lot of her gameplay is pretty basic. No, she has the charge attack, she has the decoy and is able to slip back, and she has the thunder rain thing that comes down and spreads out, but it's very fast. If you don't have a group of enemies clustered in and you miss, it can feel pretty bad. But I also haven't built her up, so that can change too. I'm tempted to have her just stay down there, but I can't do that at this time. I can for Toma since no one has him, and Alloys since I don't have him. But for Kokomi, right now she's this, or even this. And that's because she doesn't hit very hard, she doesn't heal very much. So it's like This is why most people are willing to pass on her, despite her aesthetics. Oh, and yeah, I do have to take that into account. Her aesthetics and her personality are pretty good, which might jump her up to here. But her damage and her ability to heal aren't on par with expectations for a 5-star character at all. She's basically bottom of B tier simply on her aesthetics and her personality, and only in the JP version because she's actually competent and smart in the JP. So she still didn't check out the Fatui and what they were doing with the delusions at first, and she still fell for some things. So it's kind of one thing raises her up, the other thing lowers her. But based on ability alone, she would be here, unfortunately, unless Miho does something different. Based on aesthetics and personality, she's up here, in my opinion. But if I were to say, so that's basically the way I see the characters as they are tiered. Based on the aesthetics, based on personality, looks, abilities. This is what I think. Of course, you're welcome to disagree with this and make your own tier if you want. This is just my personal opinion. I would add Albedo, Chi-Chi, and Aloy. I have them. I don't. I can only have Diluc here because I have used him in the trial. But otherwise, I would not. So yeah. As to who I would think are indispensable, Bennett definitely, Ganyu, Zhongli, Noel, Zhongling, and I would have Ganyu most likely as a Team 1 main DPS, Hu Tao as the Team 2 main DPS, because they can lead to other elemental reactions. Yula is pretty good, but she's optional still. Sucrose, she's easy to get and fairly easy to use, as well as Venture's Kazuha for the swirl. She's a battery. I think Sarah also works as a battery. She's a big healer just like Bennett is, but doesn't do as much damage. She's for traveling and cryo applications. Traveling and heals. And do damage in mining. He's the best miner though. Tank and healing, DPS, and crit rate increase. DPS single target, whereas she's DPS multi. Hydra application, fast attack, can be main DPS at a stretch, but mainly support. Support DPS, a bit of tanking, support DPS. Can be main DPS, but not as high. Her support DPS and maybe battery. Tank mostly with a bit of DPS, but not as high. He can be a main DPS easily, I think, as well as support. And then times be main, but mostly support, although he's pretty fast. He can be main, can be built to be. Definitely support, especially with elements. And mostly support, although in this specific situation, especially with the Vision Hunt decree, suddenly becomes a main. Now, as to who I might avoid pulling for, if you have the choice, Let's see. Who's really dispensable? You're probably looking for multiple utility units more than anything else, but a lot of them just do damage, or you have them around for element. But if you're really trying to be honest about who you can dispense with, it's really difficult. But right now people don't really want Yoimiya unless she's remastered. For some reason, people don't like it when they get D-Luke either. People don't like Zhangling or Zinnia. It's Zinnia. I get them mixed up all the time. That's Yanfei. I think people mostly would avoid Kokomi. They wouldn't draw Barbara if they had a choice. People like Chongyun though. And really, they don't like Amber. But she can at times be indispensable if that's all you have. I would avoid Zhao because he's harder to build. That effectively that is. But really, anyone can be a good character. Oh yeah, that's about it. Well, I think I was looking at this earlier, especially in regards to cons. But really, I don't think there's a whole lot that you have to worry about. If you like a character, for whatever reason, then you're free to like them, regardless of what anyone else thinks, or even how they perform in the game. People are going to get Kokomi for her looks. And they're going to get her on the off chance that she might be buffed. I don't doubt that anyone will go nearly so far as they have for, say, Ganyu or Zhongli, who are considered must-have units. Kokomi, you could easily pass on, and you'll be none the worse for wear. Right? So, for the time being, oh, and I have some farming to do too, don't I? Well, I could use that fairly quickly. What I have been doing is farming the boss max. And I've been going mostly between Oceanid, or Rhodesia, and Gmail, try to get their materials. Because I need a lot of them, and I don't have a lot of them. And now I need Kokomi's materials too. Oh, it is what it is. Oh, and I guess you could let me know whether or not you prefer visceral Tfue music or the game music. when I'm playing the games. I mostly use them for when I'm not playing the games, though. Okay. Let's turn that off. We'd go here to bring back the game audio. And try to do this quickly. I have tried to use Ayaka in this battle 3 times, but I generally miss my mark. Here's the thing. Maybe I should have Zhongli instead of Noel, because his shield and everything is more useful.
何をすればいい？
悲運商会が栽培した霊障花には故郷からの刺客か、それとも軽作の水を犯すものか。生物の姿形を羨み、純粋はあらゆる形へと変化する。この水の力で裁きを与えよう。
Let me get 3 cranes right away. At least they're not the raptors.
いかようにもなれる。それが水の力。
Maybe.
地上の生き物は盤石な足場を失うことで力を失うだろう。
I can charge somewhere. Oh, did it go away?
いかようにもなれる。それが水の力。
難攻不落。
Oh, those are easy to dodge. I forgot what the frog actually did. Oh, the bomb. Not where I meant to go to. Oh, I don't have it up yet. This is why... Oh, wait, have I been able to aim normally? Oh, the squirrels and the raptors. Let's see if it can catch all of them. Heck yeah. Oh, but they're all airborne now. It's not easy to deal with if you don't have the ammo. Are you gonna target this one? Nice. I know, you keep on saying it. Oh, cranes, you're easy. And yes, I am basically ignoring the girls for now. You're caught in midair.
水は消えない。
日和です。どこかへ行きます。
3 this time. Okay. I don't know what's up with the drop rate, why I'm not getting any chunks or anything. It seems to have been lower. So I now have 26 cleansing hearts. I need 60. 60. I'm gonna go after Vigio. I probably don't have time to do Rhodesia again afterwards before I have to get ready for work. Oh look, things to mine. Oh come on, why did I get stuck on that? Wait, why are things responding so well right now? Because I'm not in a quest? Alright, let's get set for the party for facing off against Gima. Sorry, Benny.
私と一緒に来い。
He goes here. Noah comes on it.
必ずあなたをお守りします。部外者禁止。はっ。やっ。任せてください。
Is that all you got? Yeah, I'm aiming more effectively right now. I have no idea why. Full counter. Just in time. So I probably took a hit or two. Now let's see if it aims at this instead of at the pillar. Oop. And that's how you take it down in one pass. So that gave me 2 pillars, still no chunks. I have 34, I only need 40 of those, and then I can move on to the next boss. I've got enough for one more. But do I actually have the time for it? I don't think I do, actually. I don't have the time for anything else, so I'm gonna start it here. So thanks for watching, everyone. If you like what you saw, you can, of course, check out my VODs on my YouTube and on my Twitch. I have gameplay, I have model building, I have item reviews. You can also check out my Twitter, where I do occasionally tweet. But not very often. I will choose someone to raid and sign off. Let's raid Hunger. Playing a new game or a new stream. I haven't seen her for a while. So thanks again for watching. Until the next stream, video, or whatever, please do stay safe, stay healthy most especially, and remember to be excellent to one another. Thank you, and bye. Bye-bye.